first thing you have to do whenever starting a new project which targets MetaQuest on Unity is to configure the project properly to compile against the target platform. And I will show you quickly in this mini tutorial how to set this up. In this tutorial, we will primarily follow the instructions from the Oculus website, so developer.oculus.com. Here especially you will find this configure settings section, and this is basically what we will do in Unity right now in this video, but I strongly suggest that you check out this part of the manual yourselves whenever you start a new project, because in my opinion this regularly changes, and you want to have the latest settings which targets the latest MetaQuest best practices. First things first, so we will start by setting the target platform of Unity. As you are probably aware, MetaQuest is an Android device, so we need to target Android as our build target, and this is done here in the build settings. You can switch from the Windows to Android and hit the switch platform, which might take some time depending on how many assets you already have in the project. So I suggest doing this at the very beginning. This is quicker, and this is the first step. Step 2, and this is kind of optional, is setting the general settings in the player tab. So here from this tab here, you can hit the player settings, and you will find on the very top the company name, product name, version, where you can fill in your data. But again, this is optional if you do not plan to publish your project in the direct future. Related with this is the package identification settings in the project settings player other settings tab, which is actually here. And if you scroll down here, you will find here this identification tab. You can override the automatically generated namespace name, package name here by clicking this. But again, this also is optional. What is not optional is here setting the minimum API level for Oculus Quest, which at the moment of this recording is Android 10 API level 29. And you see here we have the wrong one configured. So we switch to API level 29 in order to satisfy these requirements. And the target API level is set to automatic. This is already properly set here. The next step is to switch the scripting backend from the currently selected mono to IL2CPP, which is intermediate language to C++, as it provides better support for apps across a wider range of platforms. But in my experience, this also increases the build time of the project. So we will do it as suggested, and we will have to, you see this warning here, you will have to switch from the ARM v7 architecture to ARM65, which is also documented here, to satisfy these requirements. And last not least, the configuration settings should switch the install location from the currently preferred external setting to automatic. Now we will go to the XR management, and here we have to install the XR plugin. You can enable it here below. There is in the project settings the XR plugin management tab with a button install XR plugin management. So we will do this, and this will take a second. And once the XR plugin management is installed, we can then select as our target platform for Android and for the for Windows. We target Oculus here. Do the same thing here for the Windows development. Now, since we have actually set the correct XR plugins, we can now go to the other settings tab again in the player settings. So we go to player and other settings tab, and we must make sure that the color space is set properly to linear, which it currently is. And we want to clear the AutoGraphics API here, so we do not want to have this, but instead we want to have to support open GLES3.0. This is this one. We want to have this set as the first one. And going a bit below, we want to have multi-threaded rendering selected. So the first one, this is done already. And we want to have the select low overhead mode, which is not here, but I think it is in the Oculus settings. So the low overhead mode GLES here must be activated also. And with this, we are almost done. The last thing to do is change the quality settings to have a smoother, better rendering on the Quest. So go to the quality tab. I always add a new quality level instead of manipulating the existing one. So I add a 6th level and call this one Quest. And you can find the required settings in the section here. So what we want to do is we want to switch the pixel light count to 1 and make this the default for Quest. Pixel light count to 1, the anti-aliasing to 4 times multi-sampling. We want also to change the anisotropic textures to a per texture level, and we want to disable soft particles. And last but not least, we need to make sure that some things are correctly set. So we want to have the, where is it? This is the real-time reflection probes should be checked here, and the billboard's face camera should also be checked. And this is it for our quality settings. And with this done, we can finally compile our project and run it on the device. So we can go to the build settings, select here our default device, which is the Oculus Quest, which I connected, and we can then build and run this, create a test.apk, and this will compile, send the whole project over to my MetaQuest, and will display it in the headset. And with this, we are done. I see the project already, so the flat plane in my headset at the moment. And now we are ready to start some serious development.